Hey everybody, welcome back to the Show Up and Show Out podcast.
What's up?
So today's episode, we are going to be talking about intimacy and rebuilding that after betrayal and or infidelity. So without further ado, let's get into it.
Yes.
You feel like a vacation. You feel like everything I've been wanting and waiting for. And every day I'm wanting more. Even though we had a minor slip-ups, we are never, ever, ever giving up. Got the modern Gina kind of love. And shit that comes from above. My friends ask me how I know that you are the one. I know you're the one. I know you're the one.
Hey everybody.
What it do? 2023. What up, everybody?
Yes. So today we wanted to bring to you guys a really good question that we actually got on TikTok.
Mm-hmm.
And it can be one that is kind of hard to navigate. But the question was, how do you incorporate intimacy back in the marriage after betrayal? And that can be really, really tricky. Just like we said on our TikTok, in terms of the answer, my husband had a great answer to that. And he said it takes, you're looking at me crazy, but
Yeah, I was like, because I'm trying to remember what I said.
But you said patience,
Yes,
number one.
that is huge. Very
and then
huge.
I said that intimacy is part of trusting somebody. And
Yeah.
you also added to that feeling safe. So I guess let's go ahead and talk on those those three different things: patience, trust. and feeling safe.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
first up, I think the most important that kind of leads into those other two is trust. Being able to be intimate with someone, especially if they have hurt you prior, you have to rebuild trust.
Yeah, you do. I mean, anybody who truly thinks that, okay, you did something wrong and we're gonna just hop back in the the bed and do
Ain't
something.
happening.
Nah, that ain't popping off.
And let me just say
But
this.
it also shows how naive you are too.
That too. But if you are hopping right back into intimacy, into the bed,
Right.
that means
You're basically
doing
telling
it,
them-
you're doing it because you feel like you have to.
Yeah, and you shouldn't feel like you have
No,
to.
you should not.
That, but also what it also causes, that I think, is that the person who did wrong,
Right.
you're basically telling them that it's okay.
Right.
I'ma still, they don't deserve you. If they did wrong, they just don't deserve you. So why are you giving them something
deserve
that's
you
very
in
sacred?
terms of intimacy.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And I think too, like, it kind of is like you're stifling your own emotions and
Yeah.
sacrificing your own
Yep.
emotions for them yet again.
Right.
And before you do something like that, you have to have them do work.
Yeah, you do. I
To
mean, and there's
rebuild that
many
trust.
ways.
Yeah, I mean-
there's so many ways.
Yeah.
But you the trust and the patience, they come. It's basically
Hand
a
in
package
hand.
deal.
Yeah.
Because you got to learn to be patient with the person who decides that, hey, I don't even want to get down on that level as far as that intimacy and right now because of what you did to me. So you're going to have patience, but you're going to also have to have willpower. That's something else. You need the willpower to be strong enough to be able to tell yourself that, you know what, I know I did wrong and I can't do anything with my significant other right now. So I need to have the willpower to say, you know what, I'm going to do what it takes to build that trust and have that patience. And when they're ready, then that'll be that. But until then, I'm not going to, hey, well, you won't give it to me, so I'm going to just go get it from somebody else.
Right, you're not going to keep doing what you were doing.
Yeah, you have to have strong willpower.
That's true.
To not step out because you've already stepped out of the parameters.
Exactly.
Like, so why are you going to do it again?
Exactly.
And you're breaking the trust again.
Right. So
which is another factor.
Nothing
Exactly.
getting rebuilt. Exactly.
So
I think that, like we said, it's a slippery slope in terms
Right.
of balance because you do feel on both ends that guilt, right?
Yeah.
the person that did all the dirt, they feel guilt for what they did. And
Right.
some people might actually feel like, I don't want to even get intimate. And then you
Right.
have the person that feels guilty for not giving
Yeah.
into the intimacy in
Yeah.
terms of like full blown.
Yeah.
Because they feel like if I don't, then you're going to go out and still cheat.
do it again, right?
You know, so that there you have, and you have to be really open and honest and transparent
Fair.
with one another, with your feelings in terms of where you are.
Yep.
Because you don't want to push the envelope in terms of making someone feel like, well, not making someone feel like, but you don't want to push the envelope to have someone feel like they owe you that
Yeah.
type of intimacy to keep you.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
the most important thing after betrayal and infidelity should be getting the trust built back up, getting that safety in
Right.
terms of being able to be vulnerable and
Right.
open with your emotions. Those things come first. And
in other words, working on what you did wrong to
Right.
make things right, whatever
Right.
it takes. And that could be a degree of things. It
Right.
just depends. It depends on each person's relationship.
exactly.
You know, what each other have far as your boundaries, far as what you would, and when we say boundaries, meaning what you will and won't deal with, period.
Yep.
Where do you draw? You have to draw the line somewhere.
Right.
And you should have been doing that in the beginning anyway.
Truth.
You know, and most people do that, but then people cross that line. And sometimes it's because you don't make the boundaries, you don't set them very clear. You think because things are going good,
You
the boundaries
assume,
you assume
yeah,
that right. But
right.
no, you have to make it very clear
Yeah.
and present to them. Hey, look, let's sit down and talk about some things.
Yep.
So look, in this relationship, I ain't dealing with this. I ain't dealing with this. I ain't dealing with this.
Right.
All right, now if we here and this is this how we going. That's just what it is. So back and
You
forth.
gotta, you gotta set those. You can't
Right.
assume
and agree.
boundaries.
Right.
Point.
You gotta
blank,
agree.
Period. Yeah, you gotta put them out on the table, and you have to agree to them.
Right.
And that's something that I really don't think very many people do. Heck, we didn't really do it. There were a couple of boundaries we set, but we really didn't go down the line
No.
and set boundaries. It's like almost like, you know, you're by setting boundaries, you're being proactive so that you're not having to react on
Right.
the fly when
Right.
something comes up. But with regards to intimacy, you also have to remember that intimacy just does not mean being in the bed doing the do.
Right. It ain't always about that.
It's not always about that. Like, there are other facets
right.
and ways that you can be
Intimate in so many ways. And guys, trust me, if you think it's all about just hopping in the bed
That
with your
is
lady,
not it, bruh.
then bruh, you really missed the marker.
Yeah.
Hey, and that moment of pleasure, whatever it may have you, it might be all fine and dandy. You might do your thing. It is what it is. But at the end of the day, it needs to be a little bit more to that.
Definitely.
There needs to be a whole lot more substance.
Substance.
That's it, substance.
You are so true. That's
You
so
know,
right.
You have to, I mean, at the end of the day, because first of all, men, yeah, we always, for us, it doesn't make a difference. If we're ready to get it, we're ready to get it. For women, it's not like that.
It's not like that.
And it's
Well,
not like that for some men.
I was gonna say, for most
Yeah.
women, it's not like
Yeah.
that, and for most men,
Men
it's what you said.
right.
But for most women,
Right.
intimacy starts at the beginning of the day.
Yep.
What a man does,
Right.
how he thinks about her,
How
how
he
he
treats her.
reaches out to her.
Right.
You know, it
The
starts
small.
the small. There you
Right.
go.
The little things,
yeah,
in other words.
the small intricate things.
Right.
We notice everything.
Yeah.
And so when we see that our man has us in his mind
Mm-hmm.
from the time he wakes up to the time he gets home
Right.
and or nighttime,
Right.
that's what really makes us click.
Yeah.
Like, that's what turns on the
But you'll
switch.
feel it too. I mean, because
And the man
I've
should be
seen
able to tell
Yeah,
that.
of course.
Yeah.
Of course he'll be able to tell it. I mean, it's in the happiness. I mean, that's what we feel every day now. I mean, that's just what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's a lot. I mean, even today, for instance, I cleaned up the whole house. The whole freaking house.
Sure enough
I
did.
dusted.
Yep.
I swept the floors. I mopped. I clean the bathrooms. I clean my daughter's room. I clean our bedroom. Hey, kitchen. That's just what it is. So you know, those are, and that's just because that's what I wanted to do because I don't, my wife does enough. So why can't I take some time and do things for her, or do some things that she don't have to worry about? She used to always have to do that.
Yeah.
Why do that? I'm at home now. Let me do it.
Yep. Taking some things off my list. And I'm not gonna lie, like, men think that, the flowers and, teddy bears and chocolates and all that stuff is great, and that's what makes us, oh my gosh. No.
Yeah.
That's great and all, but you actually, again, noticing us and what we do and helping us and supporting us, that is intimacy.
Yep.
That's intimacy.
To a whole level.
Ladies, don't feel like you can't get intimate or be intimate with your husband, and men don't feel like you cannot be intimate with your wives without having sex.
Right.
Because you can.
Right.
And when you are in that rebuilding stage, it's so important.
Right, it is.
It really is to
connect
without the physical connection.
I was about to say, it's almost like building a bond again.
Yeah.
You have
totally.
You have to, like, when you're going out dating somebody, a lot of times, most people don't. You don't go about, hey, look, I'm going to smash that or something like that, because it's not about that.
Right.
It's really truly about getting to know that person.
Right.
And that's the intimate part about it, because you're dialing yourself in to get to know them, to figure out, what moves them, what shakes them, what upsets them, what makes them smile, what makes them mad. It's all the different emotions throughout it.
Right.
Those are the intimacy levels that you have to fulfill.
Right.
And it's easy to do.
Yeah.
It's vice versa. It's just part of life.
Exactly.
But that's what you need to do, especially when you've done something wrong.
Right.
You need to start over again.
Yep. And when you start rebuilding that intimate connection with each other, because you already had a connection, right? And now you're rebuilding it, it's almost as if, at least with us,
right?
Well, at least for me,
Go ahead,
I don't know.
This is what.
At least for me, I felt like when we were rebuilding it and getting to know each other completely on a different level, and learning those things like being open and honest and transparent and all those things, and you really listening to what I wanted and what I needed from you, that intimacy connection was even more powerful. And even more like it strengthened that connection even more,
strengthened our relationship.
We were rebuilding, and we were kind of like taken down to that foundation again, and we had to rebuild things. So it's like you're rebuilding it better. Like you had a blueprint, and now you looked at that blueprint, saw all the things that you needed to change, made those, those tweaks,
expanded more.
There you go.
Made your property bigger.
Yeah. We made those tweaks, we added those additions, if you will.
That's right.
And then when you're rebuilding even better. So that intimacy connection it's it's unexplainable. It's like, it truly is amazing.
And trust me, man, when you're
can be amazing.
Yeah, when you're out there doing these little things, the little things, in the long run, when you are able to get intimate again, when that trust is there, it's going to be to a whole nother level.
Yep.
That's just what it is. But also, not to mention that just life itself with your significant other is just beautiful. It's joy. It's joy in waking up every day. It's joy in looking over and knowing that they're laying right there beside you. Right. It's joy in knowing that when you come in the house, they're going to smile and embrace you and be happy to see you because they haven't seen you because you've been working all day. It's joy in, hey, babe, I picked up the kids from the school, so you didn't have to, but I'm going to send you to go to the spa with, one of your girlfriends, and you go and relax. I got dinner. I'll take care of the house. I help the kids with the homework. That's the joy.
Yeah, it is.
Those things. And men, we can do it. That you can, no matter what you do or how you mess up things in your life, there's always an opportunity there for you to make things better and to change things. But you have to truly want to within yourself. It starts within you.
Definitely.
And you have to realize you have to hold yourself accountable, and you have to be truthful, and you have to be transparent, and you have to just put it all out there. That's the only way.
Yep.
You know, but you have to heal, meaning that you need to know and figure out where your brokenness lies.
Yes.
Because of course there's been some brokenness in your life to make you be who you are this very moment, this time in your life. Remember that there's a child in all of our adults. The question is, are you going to let the child in you control you?
Exactly.
Or are you going to let the adult you that stands before you, that you look into the mirror every day and you see yourself, are you going to let that person be the control?
That's right.
You have to decide. The adult person do things on the adult level. The kid does things on a different level, on the kid level, because it's a protective mechanism. So you have to learn to say to that little child, that inner child, hey, it's okay. I got it now. I haven't figured it all out, but I understand what I need to understand, and I understand how I need to move in this relationship and make things better. Exactly. And I can win. Believe in yourself. You can win. That's all that has to start first. Once you get down to that, the trust will come in, because that's a part of you that you're allowing to be vulnerable for your significant other to see. And you're being vulnerable on all levels. You're understanding them. You're allowing yourself to actually give out what it is that you've been holding in for so long to them. Right. So they know, this is why I did what I did.
Yep. And it's almost like, you know how sometimes people will say, they get like a second chance or a do-over, like when we're talking about like health issues or like near-death experiences, and people will come back from that and change everything. Like completely how they used to move, they move completely different. And I feel like that's where we are. Yeah. From our rebuilding of our entire, like, we had a great foundation originally. Depression came in and was like a freaking tornado and tore that all up.
Shoot, and so was like tornadoes, a whole bunch of them, tornadoes mixed with the hurricane.
You ain't never lied. Like, it tore the foundation. It tore it up. Yeah. And we had to, find all the cracks and, re-pour that cement and all that. But it's like, once you see what you've created the second go around, everything means so much more. Right. I mean, even the smallest of smallest things, like you said, and that right there is also intimacy.
It is.
All of those small, intricate details all makes up intimacy. And the more you can hone in on those small things and get those things right, then the trust will come. The woman and or man, whoever was betrayed, will start to feel safer with that person. And when you feel safe, that's when the physicality of intimacy can happen, and you don't feel awkward and weird and guilty.
Or constantly thinking crazy thoughts in your head. Oh, did they do such and such?
Right.
Trust
me, my gosh.
We
you gotta get all that on the
table.
We
say we beforehand. Know, we know.
You ain't never lied.
So, and even too, it is almost like, again, you basically hit the reset button. Totally. On everything. Yeah. You messed up, and now you're given a new opportunity to make things right and make things better. Yep. No, you can't go back and change the past, but you can rewrite your future.
Yes, I love that.
That's all it's about.
Yep.
So ask yourself, man, do you want to do right by your significant other, or that's just what it's about. Like, you guys got to get it. It's not hard. We can either make life difficult for ourselves, or we can make life just full of joy. And I don't know about nobody else, but I'm like super happy. I'm happier than I've ever been in my life, because I'm not stressing anything. I'm not looking over my shoulders. There's no lies. Me and my wife have a very open relationship as far as talking about everything. We love each other, and I know at the end of the day, she's the only woman that I want to be with in any aspect of my life. She's my hero. She's my best friend. I know she has my back.
Most definitely.
Well, I mean, that's the joy. I don't want to start something with someone else and get myself caught up.
Right.
I don't feel like messing with other people's heads and their mentality and their feelings and stuff like that, because, hurt people.
Yep.
I'm not hurt anymore, so I don't need to hurt
God.
anyone.
Yep.
I don't need to engage with anyone because
Yep.
this is who I'm in love with.
Yeah.
That's just what it is.
So, I mean, like, if you have to take intimacy off the table in the beginning and just work on that trust,
Right.
that is more important, because that is going to actually ultimately tie into the intimacy in the long run.
True.
But you can't truly be intimate with someone that you don't trust.
No, you can't.
You can't.
You can't.
And so, for me, I think that's why for us, when we were going through all that, that was the furthest thing from either one of our minds.
Yeah, it was. I mean, heck, I wasn't even thinking about that because I was just disgusted with myself. So,
Yeah.
I mean, I felt some type of way. I couldn't touch you.
Yeah.
I felt disgusted. I felt nasty. I felt yucky. And I guess I've never heard any guy feel like that, but I truly felt nasty for what I've done.
Yeah.
The things I was doing. That was just because it wasn't me. It was never me. And so I became a whole different person. So it was like, I can't be intimate with my wife because it's like,
you're disgusted with your own self.
Yeah.
So, like, why would I be?
Yeah.
Why would I be?
I'm like, now, if I'm disgusted
anything?
with myself, I ain't even in your head to know what you're thinking. So I know, and you know me, I'm very hard on myself when it comes to that. So
you are.
I was really, really, when I realized everything, I was really disappointed in myself. I've never felt so ashamed. I've never felt so bad of how badly I messed up. And I broke everything. So, but once I engaged in our relationship and we did the necessary work to build the trust, for the patience to be there. Because again, the patience and the trust is a combination.
Yeah.
You can't have one without the other. And some days are going to be a little bit more tougher than other days.
True.
But that's the process. And you can get through it, however long it takes. And also, we realized too that I think we realized that we heal. Everyone heals differently.
Totally.
So,
and at different paces.
Me and my wife, we healed in different times. That's just what it was.
Yeah.
I mean, the intimacy thing was very huge. I mean, that thing was. It was like when I say it was for a long time. We ain't talking about. We talking about a couple of years.
Yeah.
Yeah. We didn't. That's what because we were working on us, working on making our relationship better,
and working on the other areas of intimacy before we even got to that point.
Yeah, that physical part, as far as that was not. It wasn't.
And when
important.
I say physicality, I'm talking about the
physicality. Man, it was sex.
But I'm not talking about.
But it wasn't. We wasn't.
Yeah, but I'm not
about
talking about like hugging and touching and things like that. But I'm talking about actually the act of
making love.
There you go. Yep. So. If you out there are having the same type of reservations, you need to have a conversation with your spouse, and you guys need to sit down together in a calm state and literally talk about your feelings, your emotions, and what you need from one another, and that it is okay to take that off the table for right now, work on other areas of intimacy while you work on rebuilding that trust, so that when you do get to that point where you're ready to welcome that back into your relationship, it will be better than it ever was because you've worked on everything else. And that way you don't have to worry about going through, should I have done that? And now he feels I have to do it every time and I don't want to. Like, you don't have to worry about all that.
And that goes for men too.
True.
You don't always have to feel like, because hey, the reality is there are some men who are more sensitive and get taken advantage of by women. So
true. Exactly.
I mean, guys, hey, you can say no. I ain't down for that right now.
Exactly. Yep.
That's just not what I'm feeling.
Yep.
That again, the trust will build. That patience is big with it, though.
It's huge.
Because it's gonna take a lot of patience.
Yep.
Because you're going to have to be very selfless. And you can't even be selfish.
You can't push the other person.
Right, you can't.
Yeah.
The person who was done wrong, they're allowed to be a little bit selfish. They are. Because they're hurting.
Yeah.
And you hurt them.
Right. Yep.
But once you get all of that stuff cleared up, man, whew, life is sweet.
You trip.
Yes, sir.
We really hope that this has helped anyone else out there that has, like we said, that have thought about this and this has been an issue with you and your relationship. Just know in all things, time, patience, rebuilding that trust, it can and will come back.
Right.
You just have to put in the work, as we always say. You put in that work and allow transparency in your relationship so you both know where you are and can respect each other in that and support each other in that. So,
but it got to be something that you're both willing to do.
Yep.
You have to do it on your time that you feel, and it has to be a combined effort.
Yes.
Don't play around. Either you in or you not in. If you're not in, let that person know, look, I'm not in. I'm not down for this. Move on. Allow them to be happy. Don't be selfish and keep stringing them along.
Exactly.
Either you're in
or you're not. There is no half-stepping.
Right. It's not.
Yep.
And this may not be for everybody. And if it's not, that's fine. We're not talking to everybody.
Yep.
We're talking to people who understand exactly what we're saying.
Exactly.
And been down that road and know people who have gone through specific things. That's who we're talking to.
And or haven't been down the road, but want to get to the place where we're talking about where you can be.
Right.
So, hope that helps everybody.
Yes, sir.
And we're trying to show up, y'all. We talk about this. That's the name of our freaking podcast. We got to make sure we show up.
Yeah.
So,
we'll be down.
We will be back.
We're going to be doing a thing. Let's just put it that way. But again, if you need to, if you want any mentoring, that's what we do.
Yep.
That is exactly what because we love helping people. And we want to help couples that where their marriage or relationships that have been broken. We want you to know that, hey, you can win. If you truly want to work it out and be together, you can do it.
You can totally do that.
You can do it.
Betrayal or not, infidelity or not, that has nothing to do with it. The things that we go over and teach they can be utilized by everybody.
Exactly.
So,
but they can be life changing.
Totally. I know they were for us.
Exactly.
So just look down on the show notes and follow the link to our website, and you can get all the information there. If this resonated with you, please make sure that you share it with others. Make sure you're subscribed so you will be notified of when our next podcast is uploaded.
That's right.
And with that being said, thank you so much for listening to the Show Up and Show Out podcast.
That's right.
And we will see you on the next go round.
Peace out.
See ya.
Like diamonds, they see us shining. Hashtag couple goals, catch us on the ground.